Hey, everybody. Welcome to what I guess I'm fondly referring to as the off the record edition of the Marketing Happy Hour, since we're missing our favorite members. I'm Dr. Christopher Vogelmann of drvogelmann.com and Maximize Your Media, our digital agency for all kinds of interesting people, particularly those in the healthcare professions. And with me, as always, if I can get the words out of my mouth, is...
All right. I'm John Paduchak. Hi, everybody. And our digital agency's Videos are Social, and our group online is Local Marketing Strategies on Facebook. So you can find us there.
And yet we have another group we might talk about a little bit later called Health
We
Broadcasters.
will talk about that.
Yeah, we could do that. I think what we're going to do today is we're going to dive into a little bit about, I guess, our expertise, because we've been doing live broadcasts together for about a year now. Isn't that right?
We have. We started right when the pandemic hit, and we were doing daily broadcasts. I think we did that up until, oh my gosh.
I think it was 5 or 6 weeks. It was long.
It was a lot.
Yeah. Especially the Saturday and Sunday ones, you know.
We just want to see what that felt like, because, you know, I think most people want to go on and just kind of go, geez, I wonder what that would feel like to go broadcast live daily for a while.
And now we know.
No, we know. We were going to try to do it for 365 days, and then
I think I was willing. Anyway.
Yeah, I was.
Well, then we just have to get somebody else on board, whoever that person might be. So we're going to talk a little bit today about specifically about using live broadcasts and video marketing for healthcare professionals to get more new patients, and in particular to rise and reach out into the community so that you can get more new patients, as well as remind your existing patients that you exist. Exist. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. And John specializes in this process. He's done a lot of live events and has coordinated a lot of things for a lot of interesting people. And your wife is a health professional too.
Yes. Yeah. My wife is a health professional in private practice, a massage therapist, physical therapist.
Which I think is a unique combination, you know, physical therapist, massage therapist. But you said something today or was it today or previously that we had a mastermind today, and you said that she's booked out 6 months.
6 months.
That is extraordinary to be booked out 6 months.
It is pretty extraordinary. She's booking out, taking appointments well into 6 months.
That's just exceptional. That's what a lot of chiropractors and medical doctors whom I know would refer to that as the waiting list practice. I have a couple dentist friends who are booking out 3 months from now. But so if you have an emergency, you're out of luck. So. Yeah,
she still does her best to try to sneak people in an emergency situation, because, you know, those do arise, and hey, you'd want somebody that can do that.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, you know, my history with video has been a little bit spotted. I was doing some video marketing and a few other things and recording videos such that it got to the point where my wife, who is highly skilled at doing Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives, referred to me as totally sucking in terms of doing video, that I was very stiff and unnatural and everything else. And I think you really helped me. And in particular, I've done a few in the past too, that live broadcasting kind of got me a little more confident that I could actually present myself and not really worry if I flub up, make mistakes, things like that. But that's not always the case with healthcare professionals. I know a lot of doctors who are just absolutely petrified of going onto video, even a recorded video, let alone a live video.
I do too. Even my own wife.
Even your wife?
Yeah. She has that challenge too, where she's just kind of like, I don't think I could go on and do things live. But the good news is I feel like I'm part of her practice. I interviewed a lot of different practitioners that she does business with.
Oh, cool.
And got some great reviews from people, because a lot of them didn't know. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Yeah. Our not our massage therapist, our acupuncturist that we work with, he owns a community acupuncture center, which is kind of unique here. You know, you go in, they treat you in chairs, kind of the way they would treat you in China, in a very open setting. And they're really cool. And I really I love his business. He kept me alive for the last couple of decades. So, I mean, I really feel akin to him, you know. But a lot of people watched a video interview that I did with him on her site and absolutely loved it, and said, oh, that's Andy, the one that you keep talking to us about. I saw the interview your husband did with him. And so, we got a ton of traction with that. It was just so great.
I think that's actually brilliant. That's a strategy that a lot of people never really think about, which is having someone interview you, because it makes it so incredibly easy to, and it makes you feel fairly comfortable too. Somebody's just having, like what we're doing right now is just a conversation.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy, nothing super prepared. I think I've got a Post-it note with 4 points, and that's about it.
That's okay. And that's kind of the way we work. We work by bullets. But, just kind of going back to that interview, it was great because, we refer a lot of business to him. He refers a lot of business back to us. And so it was really great, to see us, quote, proverbial us, together and kind of, having a chat about some of the different issues that, people might need acupuncture for.
But I think that also just, yeah, I mean, the boost to his practice must have been pretty significant.
Yeah. And it was good. It was good for us too.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the big things too. When you're a healthcare practitioner, I don't care if you're a provider, you're a chiropractor, naturopathic physician, medical physician, dentist, anybody, your ability to refer to other people is really important. And the more other healthcare professionals within your community know about you, the more likely it is you're going to get referrals from them.
Much more likely.
Yeah, that visibility is really important. So a lot of times when we're talking to healthcare providers, a lot of doctors, but we also have nurse practitioners and others. You talk about the 4 basic fears that people have doing video, and I'm wondering if we can just touch on those a little bit today to give people a sense of what those are.
Yeah, let's just go through them one by one, shall we?
Yeah, sure. We shall. We shall help you to overcome your fears on doing video. I was looking for something that we had outlined just the other day about those 4 fears. I mean, one of them was the technology, as I recall. It was people just, they don't know what platforms to use. They don't know what kind of equipment to use. And I think, and one of the things that always concerned me is when I'm talking to people about that is that often a lot of doctors will overbuy equipment.
Right. And this is the biggest piece of equipment we use.
Yeah.
We predominantly try to work with whatever you have. So if you've got a laptop or a PC with a webcam and a microphone, or a Android or iPhone, there's so many applications that go good with that. And so getting the technology down right is important, but it's easy. There's a lot of most of us carry our technology, all the technology we need, in our pocket with us every day.
Yeah, I mean, I like to refer to this. Actually, we both refer to this as the mobile broadcasting studio inside your pocket.
It's also your mobile photography lab.
No kidding. These cameras are absolutely
awesome. Absolutely.
I don't care if you've got a Pixel, if you've got one of those Google Pixels, or you've got any sort of other Android device. These cameras are just extraordinary in terms of the quality of the images that you can get.
They're amazing. And so the technology side is simple for a lot of it. But then trying to apply it so that, photos and images show up on your blog, and automating some of the process, obviously is a little more involved. And so,
and then we talk later about some of the repurposing that's involved in that too. But like, for example, right now, I just have my MacBook Pro sitting here. It's old. It's like, the 2015 model. And I'm just looking at the little camera, the resident camera that's in here. We have other fancier cameras that people can use. And I mean, granted, my microphone is kind of fancy schmancy just because I bought it for podcasting about, I want to say 2.5, 3 years ago. And once again, I overbought. Don't do what I did. But it turned out to be useful now, but it was sitting around gathering dust for 3 years. And I don't think that's a wise use of your dollars to overbuy equipment that you really don't need.
No. And a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's one of the things to work through, obviously, is the technology side.
Yeah. And then we talk about also, technology also includes the platforms, because we were experimenting with a lot of different things. We experimented with Be Live. We experimented with Ecamm. We were experimenting with StreamYard, a number of, I'm not sure if we did experiment with Restream, but we were just going through every single thing.
No, I don't think we did. There's Restream, there's Switchboard, there's, Zoom.
And you liked OBS. You liked OBS, right?
I did like OBS a little bit. I've used Wirecast in the past.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of tools out there. And so much of it is dependent on like your business and what you're really trying to do.
And what platform you want to play on, because we recommend that people play on a single platform, at the most maybe 2. because your people are going to hang out in a particular area. And for a lot of healthcare practitioners, it still is Facebook or Instagram or a combo of the two.
Yeah, it still is. It's Facebook. I think it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Obviously, you have to have stuff on YouTube. But most people, if they're going to look for your business, they're either going to look for it on Google and do a Google search. But I think more and more are going right directly to Facebook. And so you want to have a page that looks lived in. And, and video is a great way to make it look lived in. So,
so video posts plus social posts, going live appeals to the algorithms of these various platforms. Now, granted, we're using something called StreamYard right now, which we teach people how to use, and there are all kinds of neat little tricks and tips that you can use, like putting your logos up there and banners and all kinds of stuff. But by and large, you can also find that there are native platforms like Instagram, for example, Instagram Live. You can only do it on a phone.
Right.
Whereas Facebook has their own little creators. They have their own little broadcast studio. YouTube has a studio. There's a lot of different things like that. But we talk about that. And we teach people that stuff all the time. We have our little health broadcasters group on Facebook. We cover a lot of that stuff. Another fear. What's another fear that?
I think the biggest one is getting your face in front of camera. So many people, including us. There are times when we just are like, can I go do another video today? Does anybody really want to listen to me? Don't we all have those thoughts? And we do. And even some of the best speakers that I know, we all go through this, and I think it's important to realize that we all have this fear. It's not just you. It's just how you deal with it, and do you push through it and just keep going and do it anyway? And there are easy ways to work your way up to do that.
Yeah, I like the term that you use, which is you talk about camera confidence. That you get to the point where it's not so much the camera is your friend, but you just have the idea that you're actually having a conversation with somebody on the other side of that camera. And it does help if you see comments coming through, because then you can actually respond to those in real time. Yeah.
It absolutely helps. And it also kind of urges you on. If you're running a 5K and you've got people on the sideline cheering you on, you feel a lot better about it, right? Or
I just don't want somebody splashing water in my face as I'm here at the computer, because that could cause havoc.
That could be bad. But you get the idea. If you have other people asking questions, it makes it so much easier. And that kind of pours into the next fear, and that is running out of things to say. Like, what am I going to say when I actually get live and start talking to people? And so having people ask questions is a great way to keep up a conversation. It certainly helps a lot. Broadcasting with another person, which we do all the time, because it helps them.
In fact, one of my friends who's a nutritionist up in the LA area, Monica Klein, she and I had done something called Total Health Live, which we did once a week since back around the same time when you and I were broadcasting with respect to what eventually became the Marketing Happy Hour. We started out with "Don't dream it, stream it," and then it became we were having adult beverages on Friday afternoons around 5 Eastern, so it became like a happy hour. And then we moved it to Wednesday. We did. We still have had some of those. Yesterday, St. Patrick's Day. This for those of you who are watching in the future, and we did enjoy our various beverages live on air. So.
We do, and it's fun to do that. We often said that if we could have a show and just talk about the different things we do and work in, people would be entertained for hours.
Yeah, I mean, just random stuff like RV John. Your love of RVing and things like that. But,
I get a lot of people who watch those.
Well, and if somebody is a doctor, an acupuncturist, a dentist, somebody, I think what healthcare professionals often fail to recognize is that they put too much emphasis on the professional, sort of almost stuffy authoritarian part, and don't realize that people want to relate to them in terms of something a little more personal.
Yeah, I think the other thing that really probably the biggest thing when I'm going out and I'm looking at somebody else's website and I'm trying to decide whether I want to go see them for the first time, it's nice to see a video or something that shows me their personality, how I'm going to get on with them as a client. I think that's all super helpful. And so it's a great first thing to do to get people interested in coming to see you and get them to resonate with you as a practitioner.
Yeah, I mean, if you love RVing or you love fishing, and you see that your healthcare practitioner, your healthcare provider has an interest in fishing or something else, it also helps you to relate to them on a personal level. And my
Sure.
experience has been, after 33 years in practice, if somebody knows something about me personally, I will resonate with them more. And which is why, in the consultations and exams, I always try to learn as much as possible of each individual patient
Sure.
coming in so that I could relate to them. How was the bar mitzvah? How was the christening? You got a new baby. How was Cancun? Whatever it was. And my dad was an expert at doing that too. I wish he'd had live video to be able to do that, because he was a master at connecting with people. And this is a tremendous opportunity to connect with your existing patients, with potential patients, and to connect with the whole community.
Well, the other thing too is, there's always kind of a common list of questions or things you'd like your patients and clients to know about you, that you can answer in video in your own voice. So they get to hear you answer these questions.
Yeah, and you can answer in advance. It saves a lot of time in the office.
A lot of time. There's just the simple questions that usually you would write out, like a FAQ on your website, but you can answer them in video form. And that certainly helps a lot. People develop a relationship with you just over video. And, I'm constantly surprised, but I go back a couple of years to a friend of mine that was in one of my first classes, and I'd never met them in person. And it was one of the first cases where I had done work with them solely by video. But when we did finally meet, it was like we were old friends. And I think that's so important in your practice, to have people come in and already feel like they're an old friend, and can just jump right into working with you.
Yeah, that establishing that connection in advance, the know, like, and trust, or like I refer to as know, love, and trust, when you can start to create a little bit of resonance prior to somebody crossing the threshold to your office, that makes a huge difference in getting people to, even to accept your recommendations, let's say, because they already feel a certain comfort level, as you mentioned earlier. So another one of the fears, I was trying to remember, you talked about running out of things to say, and going back to that one, it reminds me of, when you're a healthcare professional, you have tons of information floating around in your brain. There should never be a time when you are running out of things to say, because you know so much more than your clients, than your patients. And I think we often forget how much knowledge and how much experience that we have, and that what we have to say is indeed valuable.
Right. It's so valuable, and we do lose track of that. And just the fact that it's a great way to kind of get that information out in a very friendly, genuine way.
Yeah, I mean, for example, if I have somebody who has kidney stones, because I've had those in the past too, I would recommend, hey, you need to take more water. You need to use some magnesium glycinate or some sort of chelated magnesium or so. And I forget that not everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And those are little tidbits from 30 plus years of practicing with people in functional medicine and doing these other types of things. So there's never a problem really with running out of things to say. It's the fear that you're going to have long, awkward silences. And I think if you just approach it as a conversation, that just doesn't happen. It
does not happen.
No.
Very, very true. So we want to go on to the last one?
Yeah, let's go to the last one.
All right. Let's go to the last one. So last one is how this all incorporates into your business, because everybody's business is different. We all have different things we're trying to accomplish. Things are blended together in a different way. And maybe we want to focus on content creation as well, and just trying to make that work and automating that content creation. So, I mean, there's so many ways that this can apply to the average business, but most people, I think, want to create more content is the first thing. And then the second thing, as we were talking about, is really to just answer questions that they would normally ask, that would normally get asked of them in this format. And
I'm sorry. I was just thinking, because you stimulated my head immediately, and my brain is like popping along here. I was thinking along the lines of, when you are a healthcare practitioner, I think a lot of people have the misnomer or the misconception that you're going to just be selling people on coming into your office, when that couldn't be further from the truth. Because in reality, educational videos, even short ones, 15 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes are extremely valuable in establishing you as a healthcare authority within your community. And I mean, you already have the degree, whether it's MD, DC, DDS, whatever it turns out to be, nurse practitioner, and or LAC for a licensed, clinical acupuncturist.
DPT.
You've got all, you've got the alphabet soup behind your name, basically. And with that alphabet soup, you have a leg up on almost any other business in your community, because you already have this authority figure of being the doctor, being the nurse practitioner, being the acupuncturist, being the doctor of Oriental medicine, whatever it turns out to be. And people want to learn what you have to say. They want self-care tips. They want little healthcare tips, tips on nutrition, tips on movement, exercise, those types of things. And these short little videos doing this type of stuff is amazing at building your authority beyond smart guy into someone who really cares about me and is willing to put out information so I can take care of myself.
Absolutely.
So in that respect, I mean, you can repurpose videos too, because you're talking about how you integrate them within your business.
A lot of ways you can repurpose them. And that's one of the things, obviously, that we show a lot of people is how to do that, and take the video and convert it to audio and text, and some of the different tools that we use to do that.
Yeah. And you can take, for example, you can take your videos that you've created and you can make the transcripts into an ebook that you pass out to people. You can use your video as an introduction to the office when they arrive at your office. You can do a number of different things. For example, you could turn your video into a podcast and become the local expert within your community with a local podcast, say for Manchester, New Hampshire, or Hudson, or someplace like that, where you can kind of own the authority in a specific geo-targeted area.
Yeah, it's nice when you do that too, because I find it to be really warm and friendly when somebody takes me on kind of a little tour of their office and maybe shows me some things that are unusual about their business. Like I was going to give it for instance. So like, for instance, my dentist near me makes all the tooth implants on site, that kind of a thing. And I know other people I've talked to, and they're just almost in tears because they said, "Oh, I can't get my tooth fixed," or something like that. Mine does it on the spot, designs them right there. And that's really unique. I don't know too many other, I'm sure there's tons of practices that do that. It's a unique piece.
Yeah, I have a client who actually who's in the Denver area who does that sort of thing. So I know it well, but it is unique because it's expensive equipment. It's very unique to their practice. And, if you can have, for example, a crown made the same day and installed, forget the implants, just even getting a crown done is a major event.
And it's interesting, I've got an engineering background, so I'm always talking to my dentist about the ins and outs of the whole process of it and everything. So, I mean, it actually is, a topic of intrigue to people too. Yeah. So you just never know kind of what's going to come up from it, but it's a nice tour. It's a nice thing to see.
Yeah. I mean, some people I know, they do 360 office tours. They did 360 tours have become very popular during the pandemic because people wanted to see real estate. And if they could look at a house in a 360 view, that was a good example of how video could really help somebody in a business outside of the healthcare professions.
Yeah, and they make specialized cameras now for that as well. So
which is just pretty amazing to me. And and so also, you have to really figure out where your audience is hanging out in terms of where you're going to be doing your videos. I mean, you may have a younger audience in terms of your patient population, and perhaps Instagram's the way for you to go. Or you may have somebody who the audience that you're seeking in terms of your patient population may skew a little bit older, and maybe Facebook is the place to go. And you don't always have to do live events like we're doing right now. In fact, we talk about some of the ways that you can actually broadcast into smaller groups or privately, and then repurpose that video later and upload it. So, and sometimes screens is another one that always is really interesting, where you just do a screen share and your face never appears on the video.
That's true. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do those and just do like a presentation. Yeah. So,
I mean, not death by PowerPoint, but maybe you have, maybe you have 10 slides or something, and you do a quick little 15-minute or 10-minute presentation, which is pretty amazing because people love that sort of stuff. So Speaking of loving stuff and healthcare providers and doing good things for healthcare providers, we have an event that we are going to be putting on. It's actually a workshop called, what do we call it? Actually, it was like, we call it the Health Project. It's the Easy
Video Workshop, right?
The Easy Video Workshop for busy healthcare professionals. Yeah, always remember to write this stuff down. Don't rely on your memory. So. And that's coming up on March 27th. And we're going to be accepting registrations for that workshop. It's an all-day event. And what's our guarantee?
Oh, that you're going to walk away with work done.
Yeah.
So we're gonna help you to walk out and actually have videos that you can use on your site and in your practice when you walk out.
Yeah, we're talking the end result will be you'll have 3 to 5 videos, depending on how good you are practicing during our event. That you can repurpose and use for your office, your practice promotion, and reaching out into your community. And I'm just really excited about it because I think it's just going to be an awesome time for us to spend. There's going to be a lot of content. There's also going to be a lot of practice time too. So don't think that you're going to be sitting there passively sucking in info without participating, because this is a workshop, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be less work. It's probably a fun shop.
It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, it'll be a ton of fun while you get things done. So I'm gonna put the link down below this video in several different places. I can show you the link here, but it's really long and complicated and not so fancy. This will appear under the video. I'm going to remove it right now. Epic win, because we want you to have an epic win. And then I'm going to, but I'll put it in there so you can click it, and then you can go to our page, our information page, where we cover all the things that we'll be talking about during the live video workshop, the concerns you may have, and all the benefits, including some bonuses. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We have a live video checklist that you'll be able to put up next to your computer and make sure that you have all these different things covered before you go live.
You know, I was going to say, we probably should put the Facebook group along with it.
Yeah, I'll put the
getting it going.
We'll put the group in there too, because it's a private. So for those of you who are concerned, this is a private Facebook group. It's a private community of healthcare providers who are supporting each other in creating video content and doing video marketing the right way. And so you do have to have a degree, a certification, a license in order to come in with us. We originally did it only for doctors, but we found nurse practitioners and nurses, especially nowadays with a lot of the ICU nurses whom we know who are burned out working 100, 110 hours a week and are looking for some different type of way to make a living, that we're finding that there's a lot of resonance with those folks, and they've got a lot of information too.
Absolutely. And, you know, healthcare practitioners have some special considerations with, you know, obviously HIPAA and some of these other things, if you're well aware. And so we can talk about, you know, some different case studies as we go along of how you might use it in your practice. So,
and don't worry about this being telemedicine, because that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is providing information to people, which, by the way, drastically reduces your liability.
Yes.
So, and that's the thing I love. That's why I'm no longer in practice. I love providing health information and health coaching to people, as opposed to necessarily having to worry about insurance billing and scheduling and all this other stuff. Yeah. And the 4.5 employees that I had.
You know, the one thing I wanted to sneak in, kind of add too, is, you know, you may have even in your practice been thinking of adding an exercise class or some kind of class that pertains to your business. And a lot of the stuff that we'll walk through with doing live video will help with that. So I just want to kind of mention that, because that might be a special consideration if you're looking at taking this workshop, that you might want to keep in mind.
I think that's a great idea, because demonstrating, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I used to demonstrate to my patients, this is how you do this stretch. This is how you do transverse friction massage. Here's the proper way to do lat pull downs. Here's how you use a Swiss ball. If you can put a lot of that content into video form with your lovely face on it, it goes a long way to continuing to reinforce the rapport that you have with your existing clients and patients.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to put the link down below here. Please consider joining us on March 27th. It's a Saturday event, but it's something that you're going to
love.
Yeah, you're going to, well, it's going to be a lot of fun. But you're going to develop marketing assets. We call it local marketing assets that you can use in reaching out to your community and establishing yourself as the go-to guy or the go-to gal for your particular profession. So join us. We're going to have a lot of fun. And at the very least, join us in the Health Broadcasters Facebook community.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon.
All right. We'll see you on the inside. Bye.
Bye for now.